أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. O Lord, we have wronged ourselves. If you do not guide us, we shall certainly be lost. وصلى اللهم على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Ameen. Rayan and Mariam, please begin, introduce the text and the remedy we're doing. Thank you.
Okay. First remedy. Unhappy sick person.
Wait, pause. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So we're reading from the 25th flash on page 266. And we are doing the third remedy. Go ahead, please. Thank you. The third remedy.
Oh, sorry. The third remedy. Impatient sick person. The fact that those who come to this world continuously depart, and the young grow old, and man perpetually revolves, and death and separation testifies that he did not come to this world to enjoy himself and receive pleasure.
Wait, is someone reading? Because after Rayan, I don't hear anything. So the second paragraph cannot be heard.
Moreover, while man is the most perfect, the most elevated of living beings, and the best endowed in regard to members and faculties, he dwells on past pleasures and future planes, and so passes a grievous, troublesome life lower than the animals. This means that man did not come to this world to live in a fine manner and pass his life in ease and pleasure. Rather, he possesses vast capital, and he came here to work and do trade for an eternal, everlasting life. The capital given to man is his lifetime. Had there been no illness, good health and well-being would have caused heedlessness, for they show the world to be pleasant and make the hereafter forgotten. They do not want death and the grave to be thought of. They cause the capital of life to be wasted on trifles. Whereas illness suddenly opens the eyes, it says to the body, "You are not immortal. You have not been left to your own devices. You have a duty. Give up your pride. Think of the one who created you. Know that you will enter the grave, so prepare yourself for it." From this point of view, illness is an admonishing guide and advisor that never deceives. It should not be complained about in this respect, indeed should be thanked for. And if it is not too severe, patience should be sought to endure it.
And that is the end to the third remedy. Go ahead, Hatija, you want to say something?
No.
Thank you, Rayan, for a great reading. So I'm going to, yes, Hatija, if you go ahead, you can moderate if you want. I got your message that you're confused. Are you moderating? That's fine. Go ahead, please. I'll mute myself.
No. Sorry, just misunderstanding on my end. So sorry. Please go ahead, Fredia. I would love to hear you moderate. I enjoy your discussion. Sorry about this.
Rayan, thank you for the beautiful reading. So here's, can you please share some insight into what you took away from what was read? That would be awesome. Either you or Mariam, just summarize what you understood from it. Thank you. So this was an interesting read. I don't know if anyone else besides Mariam and Ryan, you want to share out what you took away in a nutshell so we can get started? Really, just anything. I hope you guys are hearing things. If you hear the reading or if you hear the voices, please put a thumb up. We can see that you're. Thank you, Hatice. Looks like Hatice is the only one whose device is working. Go ahead, Hatice.
Okay, just to give everyone some time to think about the text, I guess I can just share my initial takeaways. So my main takeaway from this is how I guess illness can become a sort of awakening, if you will, for man, reminding him of his true purpose because of the inevitability of death, I guess. It's interesting to me how the author says, man did not come to this world to enjoy himself and receive pleasure. And this being tied into this idea of because there is death at the end, because everything is transient. And so because of this reality, through a means like illness or sickness, I am in a way forced, or I am given the opportunity to reassess the purpose of my own existence. And I think essentially that seems to be the essential key role that sickness plays in my life, in coupled with the transient nature of existence, would be my initial takeaways.
Thank you, Hatice. Beautiful takeaway. That is true. If I were not made to experience lack of health or any sort of illness here, then how would I recognize all this time that existence is given to us in full swing? And this also makes us realize how we're not immortal beings, but we desire that. So really it makes us realize our reality. Thank you for that. I see Mariam and Rayan. Go ahead, please, and then Farah can follow along.
So what I took away from the third remedy is that so I can see like when we're created, like how the creator of the universe created us, we're using like the things he entrusted us to. Like for example, like he entrusted us with money, with clothes, with everything that we have right now and that we use. So like we're living our life right now, but we don't think about the afterlife. But then some people do. And like we don't want to like leave this world because we're enjoying our life.
That's a very good point, Mariam. Thank you for sharing that. We're enjoying our creation, things that are given to us, bounties, any sort of opportunities, like you said, toys, outdoor things, or just existence in general. And it's really joyful, you're right. But how many of us are really thinking about the purpose of existence, of being given a beautiful sunny day with birds chirping, and even a beautiful summer day, or like all these opportunities that we are made to experience? So it really makes us question, like, what is it for? And why am I treated in such a interesting way, I would say. So thanks, Mariam. And I see Farah. Go ahead, please.
Assalamu alaikum. it's immediately clear from reading the first paragraph, the one with, the short paragraph, and also, though there's something that is unclear to me in the second paragraph, I think if I get generally the message that was expressed in that, one thing was immediately clear to me, that the point in sickness, or let's say in our life, is not to live as long as we can, or to have a long and healthy life. And although that is what we seem to be observing around us, these days, where there is a general, you could say, people seem to measure somehow their accomplishment or their goal in life by how long they can live and how healthy they can live during that time. But it appears, as the author says, that that is not the goal for mankind or for a human being. And so in sickness, the point isn't to just get healthy, but rather to take that opportunity to reflect on what this means in terms of my greatest need, or man's greatest need for meaning that is everlasting, that is that doesn't seem to have an end, and that of course has to do with connecting that opportunity with making a connection with the very reason one is existing, which is again connected with what it is the cause of his own existence. Only in investigating the cause of someone's existence can someone find out why they exist, and sickness being an opportunity for us to investigate this purpose. Although I don't know if this is again a language issue for me with this writing in particular. So the author says that while man is the most perfect, the most elevated of living beings, and best endowed in regard to members and faculties, he dwells on past pleasures and future pains. So the author states clearly that obviously man is elevated in his nature, as in he has the conscious ability to reason and investigate and go beyond the physical experience of things, but rather also connect with what those things mean to him. But he dwells on past pleasures and future pains. So as I read this, I felt this a little bit of a jump in language, and not necessarily clear how these both are juxtaposed. But the conclusion that the author draws is something that I do understand, that man did not come to this world to live in a fine manner and pass his life in ease and pleasure. Rather, this capital, this consciousness that he possesses, is to be used or to be employed in order to trade or uncover the eternal and the eternal aspect, or the I guess the eternal message written or intended in our life. So that was my comment.
Jazakallah khair, Farah. Your first point reminded me of what Mariam shared in terms of, how human beings can get just lost with everything that's around us, just existence, the life that's given to us, the bounties. And yes, all of that is endowed, but, it's something that we need to work on in terms of for what? What am I to do with all this? And obviously that's how the human nature is. We have, it's like connecting the pieces of a puzzle. So I'm sure most of us grew up playing some sort of jigsaw puzzles, and I'm sure we still do play. But the whole point is just to connect all the pieces together so we can see the bigger picture or the ultimate goal and the bigger perspective of our existence. And just like you mentioned also, and the author is also sharing that we came here to do trade for an eternal everlasting life. And it may seem a big claim, but this is really what we are in terms of if we question ourselves, where we are made to experience transience, but we yearn for something that is not transient. And that's really the type of work that we have to do here or cultivate in terms of, okay, so what am I to do here with my existence? So what am I really to seek or to search for? And yeah, I think the author is pinpointing that nicely and very clearly here. And also the second point, Farah, that you brought up about how the author is mentioning in terms of, yes, that the man is a very comprehensive, rich individual. Like he says here, man is the most perfect, most elevated of living beings, and the best endowed in regard to members and faculties. That's true as far as me observing any created thing around me. We can make sort of look into plants, animals, and then there's no denying that definitely we are endowed with like intellect, faculties, and various feelings and senses, and we can make sense of things. So yeah, how can we go on dwelling on past pleasures and future pain? And again, that's also part of the human journey. We do that over we look into our experiences, we learn from it, we analyze them, and then connect them in terms of really why am I made to even experience all these experiences. So there's no, you cannot avoid this dwelling on the past or future pain. But then he's it seems that the author is sort of proposing a little formula, but just don't utilize these experiences for the sake of it. So he said, and so past is a grievous, troublesome life lower than the animals. As in, yes, memory is created, is given existence, but for a purpose, in terms of not to have a horizontal relationship with things. I think that's where, the, oh man, oh, kind of, I think the author mentions that somewhere as well, kind of attitude that I think happens just within a horizontal worldview, as opposed to the where you take your experiences and then make it into something meaningful, as in connecting it to an eternal realm. Then that will be more useful. Otherwise, what's the point of being given all these faculties, intellect, consciousness? I mean, the tools. Then we won't be different than any kind of animal or created thing out there. So thank you for sharing that. And I'm gonna see if there's anyone else who wants to share out their thoughts or want to express out anything from what was shared or the text that Rian read. Feel free to raise your hand. Okay, so while people are thinking, yeah, I'm just like skimming over the last paragraph as well. The capital given to man is his lifetime. So interesting sentence, interesting use of wordings, capital, lifetime. So the capital. Let me ask the younger audience here. I see Mariam and Rayan. Mariam and Rayan, can help us understand what do you understand from the capital that the author can possibly refer to in the third paragraph?
Yes. Like capital meaning like our source of existence, or maybe it is our creator, because our creator is the one that created us and we all submit to him. So I'm guessing it's our source of existence or that.
I think the capital means is like your heart or soul, because like you understand your creator from your heart or soul. That like basically makes you live.
Mashallah. I would say teamwork makes dream work. Yeah, so both of you, whatever you said, connected well in terms of, I'm going to read the sentence. I guess the capital given to man is his lifetime. So just like you shared, Mariam and Ran, in terms of the capital being really my human side, the heart, and like you referred to as the soul. So whatever makes me a human being, where I am in the know of I'm a created being, and through my given faculties, senses, intellect, ability to speak, ability to hear, ability to taste, ability to see, ability to reason, and ability to feel, ability to express myself out, express my anger out, or ability to just communicate with the rest of creation. So this makes us a very comprehensive human being. So that's the human capital that's given to us. And it's really a comprehensive summary of the human being. So we're endowed with all of our human qualities, of our human faculties, and then it's given to us so that we may use them, just like both of you said, to connect with the source of our existence. So yeah, so like in regular lingo, we use, my heart, my soul. Yeah, it's all given to us. The heart feels things, and then, how do we define ourselves as human beings? We say spirit, soul, it's all combined, body, like whatever, just all in one packet. And we're given all these tools, and it's given to us in our lifetime. Yep. And so it's given to us in our lifetime. So what do we do with that? Why is it given to us in our lifetime? Any idea, anyone? Why is our human capital given to us in our lifetime? So that's the question. Mariam and Ryan, go ahead.
So the question was, why is our human capital given to us?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so like I want to answer the question, and I want to say like what I think it is. So I think it means like we need a human capital so we can understand why we're given existence on this universe. And yeah, that's
Thank
just
you.
basically.
Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Our human capital is given to us because maybe it's our purpose to live, to like be tested on this universe and go around all the creations.
And I want to say one more something else. So like I also think it's human capital is given to us because that's the thing that makes us alive. Because if you don't understand the reason why you have existence, then like, well, how would you know who your creator is? Like, who created us on this universe? That's what I think.
Jazakallah khair, both of you, Mariam and Ryan. Thank you for the comment. It's really making me excited. That's true, though. Like, if I were not endowed with all this human capital, with my ability to reason or even recognize that I'm given existence, then the whole human journey would be futile, then I won't be able to even do anything or acknowledge or search for the source of my existence. So yeah. And I also like the point where one of you highlighted about, so it's also given, so we interact with creation around us, and that's how capital is utilized. We communicate with the universe, and then we derive at some meaning and conclusion, so to make sense of our existence. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to add on? Hatice, go ahead, please.
This is not directly related to the last point that was made, but just rather something else that attracted my attention in the text, where in the beginning, the author says, man did not come to this world to enjoy himself and receive pleasure. I was just thinking about this phrase, and it's not so much so that I don't seek pleasure within. I guess one needs to define here exactly what sort of pleasure and enjoying of the self that the author is referring to, because it's not that I consciously and unconsciously always seek a state of happiness or peace for myself. So in a way that would be pleasure, but I think perhaps it may go without saying, but this sort of connection the author here is making between enjoying oneself, receiving this other sort of pleasure, and then when I say other sort of pleasure, I mean the sort of pleasure that does not give me security and peace with my existence. So something that is transient in nature, I would say it, or something that doesn't look to my human needs, alongside with how the author talks about in the beginning and towards the middle of the second paragraph, he says, had there been no illness, good health and well-being would have caused heedlessness. So I'm in my mind, I'm connecting this sort of pleasure and enjoying of the oneself with this sort of heedlessness. And then towards the middle of that same paragraph, it says, you have a duty, give up your pride, think of the one who created you. And so again, the sense of pride being almost there being this sort of contrast the author is making here within, what it would look like for the human being to be to align with the purpose of their existence versus when they are not aligned. So the sense of uh, give up your pride in what, or how am I to understand pride here? And how does that relate to the impatient sick person? Because we are reading the third remedy, and as the word remedy implies, we're reading from the message for the sick as well. So I'm not sure if that entirely made sense, but just like some points that are floating in my head that I'm trying to connect together within this text. Thank you.
Thank you, Hatice. Good point you brought up here. So first of all, what is the author referring by in terms of we're not just here given existence just to receive pleasure? So pleasure in terms of just living a life with a horizontal connection. Here I am, sunrise and sunset and done, right? I may or may not be given existence tomorrow, but I enjoyed today. Well done. So what does really the author means by receiving pleasure? And then you're right, it connects well with the sentence on the third paragraph where he's even like mentioning it here that had there been no illness, good health and well-being would have caused heedlessness. So yeah, I mean, I think we can go on living a monotonous life or anything, we enjoy existence pleasurable, but without connecting the existence to the existence giver, then it's things are pointless. So there's really no pleasure in it, because I know that the sun is going to set in a couple of hours and my life will come to an end. So just like I would say, like an interruption is really a call or a message for me to reevaluate my position, where I really realize that I'm utmost needy and dependent on a one to give me existence. And just knowing this part of my existence gives me more pleasure. So, because now I know that I have a generous host who is taking care of me and walking me through my existential journey. Um, every step of the way, and I'm just not a result of some random or haphazard happening. And it's interesting where he also mentions about, for they show the world to be pleasant and make the hereafter forgotten. Yeah, that's true. If I'm just looking at things from sunrise to sunset, or that's it, and birth to the graveyard, then I won't be even questioning about the existence of anything outside or basically what I'm experiencing now. So I guess the creation of anything is mercy, I would say. Even, nobody wants to die, and they do not want death and the grave to be thought of. So yeah, we don't want to die, and then, but all of these things that we witness, or these are really messengers. They let us know that, what do things really point to. Otherwise, the capital of life would be wasted on trifles. So, yeah, that was a great pointer. Thank you. Is there anyone else who wants to say something, express themselves out? Go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, I was just thinking of what Mariam said, her point about, thinking about the afterlife, she said. So in the first paragraph, as the author shows that, our lifetime, from a practical point of view, like we are all living here and we are doing whatever, maybe going to school, maybe going to work, maybe enjoying a retired life, or whatever we're doing, we're always engaged in something, and there is a particular, you know, life that we're given in terms of our particular conditions. Everybody has their own way of living, and some maybe going through certain things in their life, certain different experiences. We may be in our lifetime, I'm sure I understand, I've experienced, you may be sick sometimes, have some fever at some point, have some cold, maybe got some injury from the sports kind of injury. So everybody goes through different kind of stages in whatever they're doing in school. You might be having some exam, you might be doing some work on some project, investigating something. So there are all different ways that everybody is doing. So that is one thing that, and you see around you like different seasons that go, like winter season happens, summer season comes in. So all those things in your lifetime, there are certain things that go around. Okay, and then there's this thing about going, as the author states about, you see that you're growing from young to old. So everybody can see from their, as the comments were saying, from the childhood to the, they see that there is some change, there's constant change in the universe that is happening. And so in our existence, we are changing, we are growing, we are aging, we are going through different experiences. So all that is putting us in a situation where we see, hey, this thing is constantly changing, but it's not staying here. It is not lasting. It is, as you said, it shows that there is, it's temporary, it's not there forever. So even the enjoyment and pleasure we are having, if just without even thinking, okay, for the purpose and everything, but just like that, we like it, we enjoy it, but if we understand that it's temporary, it's going away. So is this something, like right now I'm working, somebody else is studying, we are trying to work towards this particular aspect that we want to be happy, we want to live a comfortable, peaceful life, we want to be pleasurable. Nobody wants to be miserable in whatever we're doing, right? So this is how the way the universe is being shown to us, is being presented to us. So on a very practical level, so the author is saying that, hey, question this changes that are happening. Is this it to your life? This is it, that you're happy, so you die a happy person. You work and make your living in a very nice way, and then everything is good, and then you understand that this is not going to be forever, because you see around your friends, grandparents, they are getting old and then they pass away. So you know that your life, it is also going to be something similar. Things are changing in that way. So, and then from there, I can come to that understanding that, there's a transitoriness, there's a temporary things, and this pleasure that I'm experiencing or looking for pleasure, working towards it. Even the sicknesses I go through, everything is there something to make me realize the temporary nature of things. So that was how I understood like the first paragraph. And then the second one, with the capital or with the faculty of the human beings, you can understand looking at the other things in creation. Hey, I can reason, I can think about things, I can feel things, I have senses, much more. I can understand what the birds are going through in terms of when I observe them, I can read them. I can understand what they're after. I can talk to other human beings, communicate with them. I can go and interact with the other plants and trees. I can water some plants, get some flowers. I can observe them, enjoy them. So there are some things that in the human being that there is, with the life and enjoyment that they are getting, with the faculties, we call that, like this, the senses and the feelings. When you are eating something, you are enjoying something. There's the fact that there's the enjoyment aspect to it. So human beings are very comprehensive, as everybody was saying. So all that with the human beings compared to everything else, in terms of like the plants and the birds or whatever they have in terms of their faculties, human beings seem to have much more in terms of their understanding. They have this consciousness, awareness of that they are existing, and so they can make sense of a lot of things. They can look into the universe. Now, all that is what the human capital is, and the experiences that human beings goes through. And do we use them for what they're intended for? Like, this is amazingly a lot of human capital. This is something that everybody enjoys and cherishes. Now, what do we spend that capital in terms of, really losing ourselves in the past and trying to make our lives for the, just for the temporary kind of pleasure? Or are we really learning from that nature of the way the universe is and the different experiences and the changes in the universe that we are going through? That is what the author is highlighting, that this capital of life is to be used for that, to understand, get the meaning out of all these experiences that you're having. Otherwise, it's just the animal also eats and drinks and sleeps and tries to enjoy and live a pleasurable life, but the human being is given much more awareness, much more consciousness and sense than the animal. We worry about, hey, what's going on after the end of life here? after this life? What is? So that was what Miriam's comment kind of triggered in me, in terms of there is something more to that the human being can understand than the animal, with all this capital and all these experiences, all these senses and these feelings, to understand what is it that the human being is looking for. And that is what the author says, hey, your all this capital, all these feelings, and your human side is to be used, he says in the second paragraph, last sentence, to work and to do trade for an eternal, everlasting life. So that is what this capital is to understand and realize. So these are these moments of pleasure, these moments of sicknesses are all samples for me to realize, as some comments were saying about the keeping the not just the horizontal or just to the creation to creation level uh, relationship, but there is this going to the sources. Also, Mariam and Ryan pointed out about this, questioning the existence of those things. So there is that, this all this sickness, this moments of pleasure is to do the trade for an eternal, everlasting life. So all those pleasures in terms of eating here and enjoying, and those, we can see that they are momentary pleasures. You do it one day, and then after that you're done, there is gone. You can think about, oh yeah, that in the past I was doing it, but is it really bringing those things, those moments of pleasure again to you? Yeah, you can learn from them, but don't spend all your capital, just to think about, hey, this is what I did on my path, but it's all gone. And in the future, I don't know what's going to be created. So I need to understand where to direct my human side, my human feelings, my human senses, where to direct them, and how to work on this eternal, everlasting aspect. So, but right now, here in this world, I have to use all those experiences to make those temporary pleasures into eternal, everlasting pleasures. And then the third paragraph, how I understood, was the capital given to man is his lifetime. And I think we can discuss more on this, because if everything was perfectly done, I never got sick, would I ever question my health? We always say that, this example, we always talk about it. If you never got sick, then you would never know what health is. So we have to go through experiences, we have to go through learning. And then the author also makes this point about the heedlessness. If there was no illness, so because of the illness, it makes you question, oh, I'm a needy person, I'm weak in my existence, I am dependent on a source. Somebody is the one who is giving me health. There is a source that is teaching me by giving me sickness. Who creates the sickness? The same source who is the one who is giving me health. We spoke about this, I think, in the last session, about the one who gives me the health is the one who, because I'm not the owner of that health, somebody else has given it to me. So if I'm given sickness, why do I start complaining about that? Because it's not mine to begin with. So again, the same, if we have that understanding that this is all, the health is given, sickness is given, so we can understand what our reality, what our position as a human being is. So again, going back to that last paragraph about the causing heedlessness and show the world to be pleasant and make the hereafter forgotten. So so based on our human, how we are using our feelings, our senses, if we just spend them on reminiscing on the past, or the worrying about the future, which does not even exist, do whatever is available to you right now, whatever the opportunity, make use of that, and realize that this is presented and given to you right now for you to take advantage of, to learn from, and to connect it to the existence giver. Otherwise, if we just work on in terms of that temporary, momentary things for the sake of the temporary, momentary things, then yeah, it hurts to when anybody talks about death or anybody talks about, hey, this is gonna go away. You know, nobody likes hearing that, nobody wants to have that kind of conversation. So that is, I think, what the author meant by, world to be, when they forget the hereafter, right? So nobody thinks that, this is a cultivating, like a farmer cultivates the soil to get his crops. This world for us, we're like the farmers in our experiences, where we are also, learning and working and making that connection with our source of existence, as Faria was saying about the vertical connection. So I think I spoke a lot, so you can continue, Faria, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair. Ladies and gentlemen, session is over. No, alhamdulillah, this was great actually, because now I'm it's a lot to reflect on actually. Yeah, I mean, we can go on otherwise, just living without even reflecting on every event that is presented to us. And yeah, and also with the whole analogy of being a guest in this universe, this is not a permanent place. And we can even see that with the stages that we go through in life. You leave primary school, you make lots of friends, then you go on to middle school, and then you have to leave that little setting, enter high school, then you have to leave that setting, college, and then, you fly off like a bird. So, and it's also interesting how he starts off, is the third remedy, and it's really called a remedy, because I feel like we're all sick. At least I can speak for myself within, in terms of, you have lots of illnesses that needs to be cleansed. And he's saying impatient, sick person, impatient. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about the whole patience part, but I think it's just like whenever anything, we just want, we want instant things, like instant results, instant gratification, right there and then, And so obviously if something doesn't go according to our expectations, then we're like really, really impatient with everything. And also with illness, it's very obvious, it's very experiential, we just want to be cured right there and then, so we can be back on our feet again and, go do whatever we do. So the whole point here, the way he starts off, impatient, sick person. So like, he's saying that this is like a work in progress. Utilize whatever event that you're experiencing, any kind of pain, use it to gain something. So really, without experiencing any sort of pain, we won't be able to recognize the pleasure side of things. So I think that was a good reminder. And let's see if anyone wants to share anything, or if you have a question or a comment, anything that you want to add on, feel free to do so. So I'm just gonna skim through it. This is, and it's interesting how he's also saying that you have not been left here to your own devices. You have a duty. Give up your pride. Think of the one who created you. It's like claiming ownership of thing. It's very human in terms of how we interact with things, but that's why we have to like always analyze the case from an existential level, so we can avoid this owning or sense of owning anything. And I don't know if anyone wants to say something, please feel free.
You said about this sentence, about the next sentence, about how illness is a guide and advisor that never deceives. I thought that was pretty interesting how he phrased it.
Mm.
I mean, the author.
It's an admonishing guide, as in it doesn't
Yeah.
get destroyed. It's always there. It's ever present.
It brings the right perspective to the human being.
Mm.
Like it's very beneficial. Otherwise, you know, man can easily be lost or in their imagination and heedlessness and not wondering. So everything that happens, calamities, everything is there for a purpose. Whoever's bringing them it becomes an advisor.
Mm.
You know, you look for like somebody to advise you. So I thought that was pretty neat.
This is interesting. So everything that is brought to you is there for a purpose. That's a good point. Even if a mango lands on your head while you're standing underneath the tree.
Yeah.
That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, usually it's apple, but I like the example of the mango falling on the head.
It's a very real.
They should make a new video out of that.
Split into 2 pieces so we can all enjoy it and eat it. All right. Let's see if there's anyone else who wants to share some excitement. You know, and it's also interesting how he ends the remedy. He's saying, and if it is not too severe, patience should be sought to endure it. And he starts off with, hey, impatient person, because that's how we are. And then that's why we need to kind of work out the whole experience and journey to really analyze the case for our own advantage to fulfill the purpose of our existence. All right. That is the 3rd remedy. So if nobody has anything to share or express out, we can move on to the 4th remedy. The 4th remedy. Miriam, are you available? You there?
Put her to sleep.
Miriam Syed, if you're available, can you please read the 4th remedy for us?
Okay.
All right, go ahead. The 4th remedy is up on the screen.
Okay. 4th remedy. Plaintive ill person. You have no right to complain what is due to you. Is to offer thanks and be patient. For your body and members and faculties are not your property, nor did you buy them from other workshops.
Miriam, sorry, pause. I don't know if your voice keeps breaking up or down. Maybe you should hold the device just at one spot so your voice is loud and clear.
Okay,
Thank you.
so should I start over?
Yes, that's good. Thank you. Please do.
Okay. 4th remedy. Plaintive ill person. You have no right to complain what is due to you. Is to offer thanks and be patient. For your body and members and faculties are not your property. You did not make them, nor did you buy them from other workshops. That means they are someone else's property, and their owner has disposal over his property as he wishes.
As is related in the 26th word, an extremely wealthy and skillful craftsman, for example, employs a poor man as a model in order to show off his fine art and considerable wealth. In return for a wage, for a brief hour, he clothes the poor man in a bejeweled and skillfully wrought garment. He works it on him and gives it various states. In order to display the extraordinary varieties of his art, he cuts the garment, alters it, and lengthens and shortens it. Does the poor wage earner have the right to say to that person, "You are causing me trouble. You are causing me distress with the form you have given it, making me bow down and stand up"? Has he the right to tell him that he is spoiling his fine appearance by trimming and shortening the garment which makes him beautiful? Can he tell him he is being unkind and unfair?
O sick person, just like in this comparison, in order to display the garment of your body with which he has clothed you, bejeweled with luminous faculties like the eye, the ear, the reason, and the heart, and the embroiders, the embroideries of his most beautiful names. The all glorious Maker makes you revolve and revolve amid numerous states, and changes you in many situations. Just as you learn of his name of provider through hunger, so come to know his name of healer through your illness. Since suffering and calamities show the decrees of some of his names, many instances of good are to be found within those flashes of wisdom and rays of mercy. If the veil of illness which you fear and loathe were to be lifted behind, if you would find many agreeable and beautiful meanings.
And that is the end to this fourth remedy. Maryam and Rayan. Alhamdulillah, thank you so much. So interesting, and I enjoyed also that little example that was given also. So I don't know, Maryam and Rayan, would you want to start us off a little bit? Share out what you understood, or maybe if something didn't make sense, or just your immediate impressions or takeaways. That would be very helpful for us, inshallah. Maryam and Rayan, are you up for sharing a little bit of what you took away, or
What's the example?
the example, was it clear?
Have you been too accustomed to?
Alrighty. No. Okay, so you guys are thinking. I don't know. Was the example clear to you? Let me see some. The what? The custom tailoring thing?
Yeah.
You're thinking good, Maryam and Ran. You're thinking that. Oh, Sim is saying the custom tailoring thing doesn't happen.
Yeah, in America, you just go and buy things.
Well, you gotta get stuff fitted, right? Sometimes, so you have to.
Special occasions.
Special occasions, yeah. Right. Yeah, and also maybe for the students, for the kids here, we're still kind of looking into this example, but let's see. Or is there anyone else who wants to start us off? Besides Maryam and Rayan, there are plenty of other creation on this chat room. Feel free to raise your hand, express yourself out. I'm sure everyone would love to hear your voice. Go for it. Nope. Okay. Alrighty. So let's see. At any time, feel free to raise your hand. So I just like the way he starts off again, plaintiff, ill person. Plaintiff as in like you're complaining, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought maybe the legal term of plaintiff. So you're complaining as the ill person before you're, yeah, it really walks us through in terms of like earlier, the third remedy started off with impatient. So, you know, we are impatient when we are sick. Again, when we are sick, you know, we complain like, no, I don't want to be sick. I don't want this. Right? Take it away. We all want a pleasurable life. You have no right to complain. Oops. Okay. So now the author is saying you have no right to complain because what is due to you is to offer thanks and be patient. Okay. So he's offering like a remedy here. So you have to be patient and offer thanks. For your body and members and faculties are not your property. Miriam and Rayan, I'm so excited to see you raise your hand. Please go ahead.
I'm sorry for interrupting you. But like I have a question.
Go ahead. Yes, questions.
Okay. So when on the last paragraph of the fourth remedy, the last sentence, it says, if the veil of illness which you fear and loathe were to be lifted behind it, you would find many agreeable and beautiful meanings. I don't get that part.
Good one. To be honest, I don't get that part either. So let's work this one out together. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so let's go backwards. So if the veil of willness. So in general, if I have a veil over something, so let's say I baked chocolate chip cookies and I cover it with a plate. So there's clearly a veil on it. And if I don't lift that veil, then I wouldn't know that there's something yummy and delicious underneath the plate. And so similarly, it seems that an illness also has some sort of veil on it, as in it brings me a message from my creator that I need to read. And so when I read it, as in, it's like a book, really. I open it, you know, it's telling me everything that, yeah, you dislike illness, you know, and you complain about it, you don't want it, you don't want any kind of interruption in your routine. And if the veil of illness, which you fear and loathe, were to be lifted, so if you really read that carefully, if you open that book of illness, you will find many agreeable and beautiful meanings. So I think this would connect to finding that, hey, I'm not the source of existence of the health that I was enjoying. I'm not the provider of all the bounties that I made to experience here. Oh, so someone else is taking care of me here. And so this illness then becomes a messenger letting me know that I am not the source of existence of my health. I'm not the one that's taking care of myself here, and that I'm being taken care of by a generous host. And so when I know that I'm being taken care of by a generous host, then that's a very agreeable feeling, because now I'm not reliant on blind forces or nature to cure me, or, you know, I know that I have someone, a source of existence, who's communicating all the messages to me. I don't know. So does Miriam, does that ring the bell anything, or does that make sense?
Yes, thank you for the example. I think I understand it.
Wonderful. Do you mind sharing out a little bit what you took away in your own wording? So perhaps it can help me understand as well in a better way, if you want to.
So like for me, I don't know if it's related to it, but like on the second part of the sentence, it could be related to the topic. So like my example would be, there's a door that's closed, and like behind it is like, I don't know, like something like a whole big garden. and like you don't, like what you said, that if you don't lift the plate you won't see what's underneath it. So it's like if you don't open the door you won't figure it out. And so like you're gonna you fear to like open the door because you really want to know what is behind the door, but you're scared to know what it is. So but when you lift it up you see something, a beautiful garden, and like that relates to a beautiful meaning. That's what I think.
Yes, Miriam, mashallah. That was beautiful. And thank you for sharing that. You're right. I'll be scared to open the door, like the author's here mentioning, which you fear and loathe. But then if I just dare, I'm like, let me go for it.
I can complain, oh, there's a door.
Then what's that?
I can complain there's a door out there. I don't know what's behind it. What will happen if I open it? Yeah, so that's from the analogy.
Yeah, or even like fearing, you're like, oh, what is this? Complain like, oh man, who's gonna open the door? Or no, like I'm curious by nature. I'm like, yay, there must be something behind it, but like I'm scared. Like, what is? I open it and then it's just like a bunch of monsters coming in. But like you have to take that first step and be daring, open it, and then voila, beautiful garden, and you can go on and hop in with Alice in Wonderland. Thank you for sharing that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just curious to know. Like now, this bro next to me here brought up this, which you would fear and loathe. I don't know what's everyone's take on that part. And let me see, there's something on the chat. Oh, okay. If anyone else want to share out something, go for it. This was good. Wait, let's see a little chat here. And you are curious because you would want to know what exactly, Miriam. Yeah. We're like curious, what is behind this? It's like discovering a treasure. And yep. Okay. Anyone else wants to make a comment or share something, express themselves out? Please go for it. Oh, Ali Marmar. Assalamu alaikum. I didn't realize you're here. Go ahead, please. Let's hear your voice. Inshallah.
Now, can I speak to Mariam Ryan? Whoever they are, they will answer me. Can I ask some simple questions to them? Communicate with them, actually, make the discussion in an interactive form.
Sure.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for accepting. For example, if from the very young age, if you go out and you find one particular neighbor, your neighbor, gives you a drive, and it goes on and on and on for 10 years, and then one day you go out and you don't see that neighbor ready to give you a drive. What do you feel exactly? What do you feel there on that day?
I don't understand that well. Like, can you please like explain it?
Now, since you were aware of yourself from the very young age, one of your neighbors, the particular neighbor, comes out and gives you, drives you wherever you want to go. Wherever you want to go. For, let's say, for 10 years, he has been doing this. And after 10 years, you find one day he didn't show up. You went out the house, and to your surprise, the neighbor is not there. What do you feel on that day? What do you feel? How do you feel?
I mean, so I would like feel like, you know, like, cause he took me out on a drive, I would just feel like I would be confused for some reason, because he took me out on a drive where you said 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and I would just be like surprised and just confused, and that he just disappeared or he's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel. I would feel the same thing. Surprised and also worried. What happened? Now, do you think this neighbor has to help you? Let's think about it now. He didn't show up. Why didn't he show up? He used to, but now he didn't. Let me ask this question. Since he has been giving you a drive, driving you wherever you want to go for 10 years, does it make it necessary for this neighbor then, after 10 years, he has to drive you again? Because he has been doing it for 10 years. Can you say that he has to come and drive me today again because he has been doing it for 10 years? Would you have the right to complain about your neighbor after 10 years of giving you the drive, driving you wherever you want to go? Would you have the right to complain about him?
Yes, but it's not necessary.
But if you complain that he didn't show up today, do you think it would be a right thing for you to do?
No.
No, that's exactly a human feeling. I have no right to complain because the neighbor doesn't have to give me a right. Now, one day when he doesn't show up, there is something beautiful behind his behavior. What is that? What do you think he is telling you when he doesn't show up after 10 years? Do you think he wants to tell you something?
I think he is telling us that we don't always have to depend on him, maybe. And Mariam could say something too.
And I think he wants us to like be patient.
But I don't think, no, in this case, I feel that he wants to tell me, to remind me that it was his own mercy, it was his own pleasure to help you, and one day, by not showing up, wants to tell you that, look, I don't have to give you a right. You took it for granted, and it became a familiarity for you to understand that, as if I have to give you, I have to drive you. No, he says, I don't have to. You have to understand this. Because of this familiarity, every day he is giving me, he is driving me wherever you want to go, doesn't make him necessarily that he has to do it forever. But when he doesn't give it when he doesn't drive you for one day, can you say that he is being a horrible neighbor to you? Can you say that? He has been driving you wherever you want to go for 10 years. For one day, he didn't take you. He didn't drive you. Can you, do you think you will have the right to complain and blame the neighbor that he didn't show up today?
No, because like he wanted to do it. He wanted to do it. And it was like mercy, how you said it's like an entertainment for us, but it's not necessary. Like you don't need it.
Yeah. So we have to say that, we have to understand that when something has been given to us for so long, but one day it hasn't been given, stop giving it, does not necessarily mean to torture us, doesn't mean to harm us. It may mean, if we really think that, oh, I became so familiar with this person who drives me wherever you want to go, wherever I want to go, so that I stopped appreciating it for a while. And I took it for granted it has to be in this way. Now he is telling me that he doesn't have to, and I have to realize that he has been doing this favor to me in order to make me be 100% sure that he has been doing it out of mercy. You see, the door is not coming and showing up on that day. What is behind the door to make us realize that this neighbor was a very kind person and he has been doing it out of his mercy. So we say, oh, this neighbor has been very, very kind to me. Not that he is punishing me when he doesn't come. I feel behind the door, I realize that this neighbor has been extremely friendly, extremely merciful to me. So I would be very happy while whatever he does to me, as long as he doesn't have to do it. It is not my property. So the example given at the beginning of this fourth remedy, now I am a poor guy. I don't have any property, any clothes on me, and the owner of the clothes puts on me different kinds of clothes, as if the example sounds that the owner of the clothes are playing with me, as if. But whatever the clothes, whatever the dress he puts on me, I understand that it is a favor. Whatever the kinds of dress he puts on me, I would rather say that it is a favor for me because he is the owner of the clothes, dresses. I'm not the owner of them. Can I say, oh, he cut this cloth, or he gave me short cloth, long cloth, etc. But he is just demonstrating, he is a very famous fashioner, let's say, very successful tailor, he is just demonstrating his art on me. I have to be thankful whatever he does on me, rather than saying that this tailor or this fashion maker is playing with me. It seems to be that the example sounds as if the tailor or the fashioner is playing with me. No, he is demonstrating his art on my being in order to make me realize which kind of artist he is, what kind of models or fashions he can make and demonstrate it to me, to teach me which kind of fashion maker he is. So rather than complaining, we have to be thankful whatever the kind of dress this fashion maker puts on me. I shouldn't feel that I am being played around. Rather, I am being graced. I am being given different kinds of clothes in order to demonstrate which kind of fashion maker, which kind of talents he has. Just showing on me, I must be proud of it, that this person, this fashion maker, is using me in order to demonstrate his beautiful fashions on me. So I shouldn't complain whether he is giving me illness, whether he is giving me a healthy life. Whatever he does, it is his right to do, because I have no right to complain about it. So whatever is happening to my life, I have to use it as a means of acknowledging, realizing which kind of creator I have, so that he is demonstrating his qualities on my being. I hope it makes a little bit sense. Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. Yeah, that was great. Thank you. Mariam and Ran, yes.
So I want to go back to the fourth remedy because I have something to share from there.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay, so I want to say what I understand from that. And I understand from that is that like when you're sick or something and it's like it's supposed to happen to you, you shouldn't complain about it because it already happened, and you should be thankful that you already were able to you were already able to um have a lot of things in your life and like enjoy it as much as you can. And when you get sick or something happens to you, it's supposed to happen, and like it should make you feel better because I don't know, but I just have an example. So like if you do exercising, and if you do exercising, you can you get pain after if you don't do it every day. So basically it's the same thing because there's something good inside of it, of what you're doing.
Jazakallah khair, Mariam, for sharing your comments and reflections. Very beautiful indeed. So, you know how we said that no pain, no gain. And also, like, everything is a messenger for us, and it's bringing our attention to how we need to look into events and experiences, or pretty much how to set our worldview as far as connecting our existence to anything. So you're right. So the whole key point is to be consistent in terms of recognizing the source of existence of all our bounties. And so I working out that you give. So if I'm not consistent with my workout routine, definitely I'm sore. If I do it after a month, or even like a couple of days, then it's a very vivid reminder that, that I need to practice things on a regular basis, be consistent with everything, even also like doing your homework. So suddenly, if if I'm not doing my homework daily, then, it's like the end of 3 months and I'm like, hey, miss, or sir, what can I do to pass the class? Is this pain? So if you're not consistent, then suddenly you have the whole burden coming towards you. So the whole key point is to be consistent in recognizing the source of existence of everything and being thankful with existence. So I think it's very important to be in this reflective mode daily. I know we get together here weekly, so anything that helps us recognize the reality of our existence is a must here. Otherwise, we'll be just complaining about it. Oh my God, ouch, that hurts, right? But then once we know what everything points to, then you're like, yep, I didn't do my homework. So let me just stay consistent with things. So thank you for bringing that point up. Is there anyone else who has anything to share? I'm just giving 1 or 2 minutes. Any closing remarks? Okay. If not, then do you all think that we covered the 4th remedy? Or you want to pick up from this 4th remedy next Saturday? Can we just take a vote? If you think that we should pick up from the 4th remedy, if you think so, please put a yes or a raise of hand so we know that we'll pick up from the 4th remedy. Muhammad Said says, okay, we should pick up from the 4th remedy. Looks like Muhammad Said is the only registered voter here. So, and Aisha Noor, thank you. Ali Marmer says no. Oh my God. So I'm sorry, but like, let's see the poll. So we have 2 yes and 1 no. Any other votes? Going once, going twice, and Farah says no. I guess this. Okay, so we'll move on to the 5th because we have equal and equal. But if anyone would want to make any kind of pointer, so between now and Saturday. Oh, you're the tiebreaker. You want to say 5th? Oh, why do you always have to be that agent of change? Okay, alhamdulillah, this is great. So we're going to move on with the 5th remedy next Saturday, inshallah. If there's anything in between, wait a minute, then we have Miriam and Rayan wants to move on with the 4th remedy. Okay, so between now and next Saturday, everyone just do a little homework, think about what we covered, reflect a little bit more. You can read up also on your own. And if there's something that comes up, we can devote the first 5 minutes or so, 5 to 10 minutes to sharing out any kind of questions or reflection that you have. And then we're gonna pick up with the 5th remedy. Inshallah, that should be fair enough for everyone. With that, Jazakallah khair for your contribution, Mariam and Rayan, Ali Murmur, Hatice Beza, and Farah, and Asim for sharing out your comments. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Subhanaka la ilma lana illa ma 'allamtana innaka antal alimul hakim. Glory be unto you. We have no knowledge save except that which you've taught us. Indeed, you are all knowledgeable, all wise. Wa akhiru da'wahum alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Bi hurmati sirra surat al-Fatiha.